All right, guys, I am very honored to be on this call today. Stephanie Gant, I'm direct to Jim Larson, Jamie Susie, Corey Neighbor, Sarah and Jared Ronicky, and the Jacob Pogue Marshall Wayland hierarchy. And I'm just thankful I got through that. But what I want to share with you guys today, and this might be the quickest talk we've went through, but I want to talk to you about what has kept me from hitting my goals. And it's all about mindset. And I know we talk about that a lot on this call, but that's my issue. I have set at 100% for over 2 years. Over 2 years and just can't seem to get to that next level. And it's is solely because even though I was reading, I just wasn't reading the right material. I wasn't growing where I needed to grow, and it's all about my mindset. So that's what I want to talk to you guys about today. Hopefully, this will resonate with someone. But so I have struggled all my life with that inner critic, the one that tells you you do not fit in when you walk into a room, the one that tells you you're not worthy, or the one that tells you you're not good enough. So put a one in the chat if that is something that you battle with as well. Um, and I know for me personally, I've struggled all week with the thoughts of what I was going to share with you all. The thoughts that I wasn't good enough. Even kept thinking, I'm not a good speaker. Why am I even going to be on this call? Like with how many ever folks that were going to be on here. That's the things that I battled every day. And I also want to be honest with you guys. Who here measures their self-worth by their accomplishments? Their title here at Symmetry. I know I do. And I have to keep, I'm looking towards a big goal, and I have to keep reminding myself that goal does not define me. It doesn't make me a better human being. So I'm constantly reminding myself of that these days. Or, do you define your accomplishments by how much money you put in your bank account last week or how many apps you wrote? And this is guilty as charged. The leaderboards. When I first got started here, I would wake up every morning and the first thing I did was get on HQ and see who was beating me on the leaderboards every morning. I'm going to kid you not. Like that is how crazy I was. I was so obsessed with those leaderboards. But I've got better. I've got better. I will say that. But you're not alone. The truth is, all of us here at some point has struggled with some negative mindset. Um, who here has already had a negative thought this morning? And if you hadn't, it's probably already coming for you. So your homework is to catch one negative thought today and just notice it. Notice when you're saying something negative to yourself. So here's the problem. We have these negative thought loops. And I recently read a study that said over in the average home growing up, we are told no 148,000 times compared to the no yes. And that's an average home. Y'all, I grew up with a mom and dad, been married 40 years. So the average time we're told no is 148,000 times compared to the word yes, that you can do something. Yes, you can accomplish something. And here's another staggering stat. Put in the chat, there's a National Science Foundation did a study. How much percentage do you think is a negative thought that we have daily as humans? What would you think the average percentage is? Some of you got it. 80%, which I thought was crazy. 80% of our thoughts are negative. And even what's even more crazier is 95% of them are negative. Are repetitive. So they're repetitive. So what we're doing is just, build or just kicking ourselves. So let that sink in for a moment. That means most of the time you're not even thinking new thoughts. You're playing the same old negative thoughts over and over again. So if you're replaying, I'm not a good producer 95% of the time, guess what? How are you going to feel about your production? Not so good. If you're replaying, you're not good enough, how are you going to approach your goals? If you believe what your mind's telling it, even if it isn't true, that's what you're going to do. So, what I want to talk here today is about there is hope. your brain can change. So your brain is very adaptable. Who here has heard of neuroplasticity? And that's something that I've just recently learned about as well. Neuroplasticity just means that your brain can actually rewire itself. So the same brain that's been working overtime, holding you back, can be trained to propel you forward. Um, Now, this doesn't happen automatically. You have to give your mind the right direction and the right challenge. And when you do, your brain will work just as hard making things work for you as it has been for holding you back. So, um, these are practical steps that I have been doing that have been helping me rewire my thought process. So, um, I'm going to ask you some questions. So I just want you to think about some of the answers and even maybe write them down if you can. But step one, so there's 5 steps that I've been practicing. Step one is awareness. So we've already talked about who here talks or catches themselves thinking negatively. So that's your subconscious on autopilot. Okay. So what is a negative thought that you tell yourself a lot? Take a second and just write one down that you tell yourself. You know what I tell myself all the time is that I am not good at remembering names. I tell myself that all the time. And guess what? I'm not good at remembering names. And so I've got to change that thought process. So, how are we going to change it? We're going to replace those negative thoughts. So, you've written down that negative thought. What is one way you can replace a negative thought? You're going to, number two, step two is affirmations. We've all talked about affirmations here. I know I used to, when I first started doing affirmations about a year and a half to 2 years ago, I would get up. Some of y'all probably read Miracle Morning. And so I would get up and read Miracle Morning and do my affirmations before I started my day. And kid you not, 3 months into doing Miracle Morning and doing those affirmations, I hit a 10K month or a 10K week and did that consistently back to back for several weeks. But recently, I read a study that your brain, your subconscious, is most alert and will soak up more things right before you're going to sleep, right when you're relaxed. So, what I have been doing instead of, I mean, I still read of a morning and everything, but I have been going to bed. I downloaded an app, but you can get a YouTube or you can just record yourself saying, these positive affirmations and just replaying them in your head. But I downloaded an app. I'm replaying these positive affirmations in my head. And you would think having earbuds or AirPods in your ear and having somebody repeat, stuff in your ear all night would wake you up, but y'all, I go to sleep so easy, so easy. So your subconscious is most open when you're relaxed, especially right before you go to sleep. So that's the best time to introduce new positive messages. So instead of like replaying, I can't do this, what if you repeated to yourself, I am capable, I am worthy, I become stronger every day? You know, so that's the challenge. Tonight, before you go to bed, speak one positive affirmation to yourself out loud. Step three is a mission statement. Give your mind direction. Think about this. All businesses have mission statements. They don't just drift aimlessly. They're guided by a clear purpose. So why don't we do the same for ourselves? I want you to imagine writing your own personal mission statement, one sentence that sums up who you want to be and what you stand for. For example, mine is I'm committed to building others up and living fully present with my family and growing daily into the best version of myself. So, if you were to write your mission statement in one sentence, what would it say? So, step four. So, we did step one was realizing the negative loop. Step two was affirmation. Step three was your mission statement. And then step four is plan plus action is backing it up. Okay. So affirmations are great. Mission statements are great and powerful. But here's the deal. If you don't back them up with action, your brain will not believe them. Okay. So let me ask you, what's one small action you can do this week that will align yourself with that new self talk? So think about it. Maybe it's committing to saying daily affirmations. Maybe you don't do that currently. So maybe it's saying daily affirmations. Maybe it's picking out an accountability partner. And mine's probably on here that I will send her the wins daily to before bed. I will send 3 wins daily before I go to bed to this partner of mine, and she sends me hers back. And we hold ourselves accountable because when you go to bed, knowing that you've got some wins for that day, regardless of how the day went, you wake up with a more positive attitude. So maybe it's even journaling for 5 minutes of a morning, but drop in the chat if you're okay with doing that. What's one action that you can take that will prove to your brain that I'm moving in the right direction? So, last but not least is consistency, and that's rewiring your brain. Now, let me ask you, how many years of negative thinking did it take to wire our brain the way it did? It's a long time. So we can't expect our brain just to fix, overnight. So it's going to take some time. Every time you repeat a positive thought, every time you take a small aligned action, you're recreating a new neural pathway. So this is what I really like here. It says do it once, it's a scratch. Do it daily, and it's a groove. You do it consistently, and it becomes a highway that your brain automatically takes. Okay. So, last but not least, in closing, let's remember this: your subconscious mind is just doing what it's learned to do. If you don't teach it something new, you're always going to repeat that same old story to yourself. And we can rewrite our story. Talk to your subconscious, tell it what you want, and back it up with action and stay consistent. The results may not show up overnight, but if you keep going, they will show up because your brain is always listening to what you tell it. The only question is, what story are you telling it? So that's all I got.
Is that all you got?
Thank you.
Is that
Yeah,
it?
that's all I got.
Man, I'll tell you what, I hope you get a chance to read those comments, Steph. Zoom actually kicked me out for a hot second, so I missed like a minute in there. But man, I'll tell you what, this is a topic that resonates with so many people. And Trevor Tipton sent me an incredible text message the other day, just with how this platform encourages vulnerability. It encourages that transparency. We don't come here and just you know, paint rotting picket fences white. Like we talk about the real here, and I love that. I'll tell you, we're on the same page with your content. I just yesterday texted this to my daughter, and it was just a meme I found. I screenshotted it, and it said, "The power of words is real. Use it wisely. Stop saying I'm tired, I'm broke, I'm stuck. Start saying I'm learning, I'm building, I'm becoming unstoppable. Your mind believes what you tell it. Every word you speak is a seed. Speak defeat and you'll feel drained. Speak power and you'll start to rise. You're not just talking, you're casting spells. Choose your magic wisely." I love it. So good. All right. Let's stop the recording.